think I got it. Is that Garth Brooks?
Yeah! Garth Brooks.
Is that Friends in Low Places?
Yes! Hot dog! Richard.
2 for 2.
Man.
Wait, 2 for 3.
I don't know. I feel like wish I had a gift or something to give you, like a prize.
Yeah, there was one little section in there that I heard it. That wasn't it.
Was that not it?
It was, I can't remember it now.
In the verses or?
Yeah, when you go back high. That was when I got it, I think.
Well, hot dog, Garth Brooks here on Great Measures.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Great Measures. My name is Richard. This is Judson.
Great Measures.
All right, today we're going to, we're down here in the South, so we're going to stay in the South.
Yeah, we are, boy.
Little band from Arkansas.
All right, then. I'm go with Southern accent the rest of this time.
Please, God, end it in the misery.
You live down here.
The band is called Pallbearer. Pallbearer.
Okay.
The song is called I Saw the End.
I Saw the End. By Pallbearer. Sounds like a band I might like, Richard.
I think you might. I really think you might. I really think you might.
Pallbearer.
Ready?
Yeah.
All right, by God, let's play these old Southern days.
Oh, I can, yeah. Come on, Richard, do it with me.
All right, this is I Saw the End by Pallbearer.
All right, then. Proceed, Richard. So what'd you think of this song, Richard?
I like this song. I'm a little bit of a latecomer to Pallbearer. You know, we've talked about it before, but there were certain bands that I just refused to listen to for years. I don't know why.
Because they're from Arkansas.
I didn't even know they were from Arkansas. Like, that had nothing to do with it, you know? But
you could tell by listening to them if they were pig
Well, that's the thing, is I never listened to them. I never even heard a song in passing. And then, you know, within the last year or two since we've been doing this, I've been intentionally branching out, getting out of my own narrow-minded comfort zone and hearing new things, and immediately was like, yeah, they're good. This one came out in 2017. It was from an album called Heartless. A little background on Pallbearer is, so they're technically classified as a doom metal band, but they have done some progressive stuff.
Doom metal?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They were formed in 2008. They're from Little Rock. So the description says, while initially rooted in a fairly traditional sound at their beginning, their music is noted for expanding into progressive rock and alternative rock territories as their career has continued. So this, like I said, they were formed in 2008, but this was 2017.
Okay.
It was founded by two members, Brett and Joseph. They met as students at the University of Central Arkansas.
So, really guitar heavy.
Yeah. I think that's why I like it.
Yeah. Couldn't hear the bass a whole lot. I was trying to find it a lot during the song. It's the two guitars wandering around each other is cool.
Yeah.
Because they're not really they're playing in the same key, but they're not necessarily mirroring. They're not mirroring each other.
No.
I mean, they do a little bit of this same little down, 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 down together, a little trill that, but they don't do it at the same time. And they're not playing hard. They're not running over each other in harmony. They're just wandering. They're just playing their own riffs.
Which I think is what would be pretty safe to assume that this was their more progressive era.
Okay.
I would think.
And then I really liked what sounded to be the chorus, but I know that there's not really a chorus. There's a point in the song where the just one guitar is playing, and then the singer comes in and then the other guitar picks up, which just seemed like it was going to be a chorus to me. But anyway, I know that there's just quatrains just going down. And then, yeah, I don't know. I really like the section that when they switch. I like the playing that on guitar is a lot of fun.
That makes me think of Rush for some reason when I hear that.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I was trying to think of what other bands it makes me think of. But you know, that's fun to play on guitar. It's just the first two bass string, the E and the A string, and then and you come up to the G string usually to make it the major or the minor. And he even sings. He resolves to the major, and he's singing there at one point. It's weird. It's sort of a strangely constructed song.
It is, yeah. Which is kind of why I thought you would like it.
Yeah, I mean, it just it starts in one point and goes to another. The only thing that really kind of it's just those guitar, whenever they go to their riffs and they start doing their thing, they even do different ones there towards the end. They're not so technical that it's all in my head, where I'm kind of like, I get overwhelmed with it. I mean, is there a guitar solo in this song? Would you say there's a guitar solo section? Or is it all just basically a guitar solo section and songs created around it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could classify that section there, getting closer to the end, as maybe a solo, but it's not a whole lot different from the rest of the song.
Yeah, I don't. They make me. You know, it's almost as if there's nothing overly remarkable about it. Which is not. I'm not saying that as a shot at him. I'm not saying that. It's just I'm just sitting here listening to it, going along for the ride there, and there's interesting parts, and it's interesting the things that they're doing. But you know, the singer, it's just like they didn't put anything. How do I say it? You know, it's good. It's good that it's unremarkable in the sense that it's a solid piece of work, and I want to hear how it fits in their other, you know, what else they have going along, because it's sort of just a statement as to what they are in this way, you know, rather than, and I'm sure they have a hit or something like that, but it just sounds, I guess, I don't know. I'm just saying there's, you know, if you can keep on an even kill with what you're doing, rather than here, and then this is terrible, and then this is, this one was really, you need to listen to this one, this one was really good. It sounds like, because their singer you can tell is a good singer.
Yeah.
But he didn't overdo it. They didn't overdo anything.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's cool. They were interesting without overdoing it.
It's funny you say that, because I think that's why I avoided them for so long, because at that time I was digging for the most technical and chaotic and crazy and extreme things that I could find. And, you know, I saw something about, maybe it was one of their earlier releases, you know, it was everywhere. I can't remember which album it was, but it was everywhere. And I read about it, and I read the release or whatever, and I see that, you know, they're classified as doom, or they're classified as, you know, whatever it was they were being lumped into at that time. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm never going to listen to this. And I get, what I'm saying is, at that time, I didn't want anything to do with more simplified, pure metal, I guess, at that point. And now I hear it and I'm like, I'm not regretting that I didn't listen to it. I'm glad I listened to it when I did because I was open to it. I'm trying to think how I'm phrasing this.
You're getting old and more simple-minded?
Maybe, yeah, that's it. That's perfect.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's accurate. I'm okay with more simple things, music-wise, metal-wise, especially these days.
Yeah.
It's not everything that I'm listening to, but I'm more open to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not even saying this was simple.
No, it's not. It's
I don't
just solid.
want that to sound like I'm taking a shot at it by any means because
just
I
solid.
love the song.
Just solid all the way through.
Yeah.
They just were solid. It's just no. It's just business. You know. Like,
I'm a huge fan of that tone and those harmonies together.
Mm-hmm. Harmonies, like singing.
The two guitars.
Yeah, but they were just. You could listen to one of them, and go along with his riff, and that's the other thing. They did it long enough, where you wouldn't have to just start the song over and say, "Let me listen to this." It's going to come again, and they're going to go on for a little while, so you can sort of listen to this guy for a little while, and then you can listen to the other, and then you're just on to the next part.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's cool lyrically. It's positive lyrically. I think it's a good message. I really like the last line of it. It said it has something to do with fear, getting rid of fear, or no more fear. What does it say?
When all your fear dies, life becomes your own. To silence your cries, learn the truth that must be known.
Yeah. The first two lines. To get
when all your fear dies, life becomes your own.
Life becomes your own. I think that is. It's another thing that I've been thinking a lot about.
Okay.
Is the having to get rid of fear in every sense. You know, not just fear of bears, even though bears are pretty scary.
Mm-hmm.
But the fear of doing things in your life, or taking chances, or fear of the unknown, those kinds of things. You know, fear keeps people from doing so much, and so much is delayed or not. There's a fear when you're trying to come off of dope.
Mm-hmm.
There's a fear in that, right? So people are hesitant because what am I going to do? And it's not even a well-grounded fear.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you say, well, you're going to get better. You're not going to be dying, blood all over the place, and stealing from everybody like you did.
Yeah.
Then, I'll never let it go.
Yeah.
It's great.
I'm a thief.
It's great. It's great. But it's not a well-grounded fear, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you tell people you'll get better, things will get better in your life. How about that? And they still get afraid and they don't want to do it. They'd rather go back to what they know because it's a fear of an unknown situation. So fear prevents people from doing almost everything that they not that they should do. I'm not saying that. I mean, obviously, but it's one of the philosophical things I've been thinking through a lot when I sit and think about philosophical things.
No, I'm right there with you, and it's something that I have thought about a lot recently too. Specifically, my job. We went down to the treatment center that I work for, and we had a training for a couple of days, a couple of months ago. And one of the administrative people was running this little seminar type thing with us, and it was based on fear. And we were voicing our concerns with some of the inner workings with the hurdles and the challenges that we have. You know, my job is to facilitate a smooth road for these people that are looking for treatment for substance abuse, to get into treatment, whether it's with our treatment center or whether it's with another. But specifically in the instance where somebody's trying to get into our treatment center, I have to collect as much information from them on the front end as possible. I'm already talking to this person on the worst day of their life. And then I have to hand that person off to one of our admission specialists. And, without getting too far into the weeds, you're releasing and relinquishing all control to this next person to do a good job with getting them in the door. And there's a lot of fear around that. And that's what this lady brought up to us when we were expressing our concerns and some of our hesitations about handing it off to a certain person. And she was like, that's all fear driven and it's all fear based. And fear is what's keeping you from excelling even further with your job. Mm-hmm. There's also, and I know this is dumb, so James Spader's character on The Office, Robert California, he has a quote about fear that has always stuck with me.
Okay.
And I'm going to read it to you. It's not long. Fear plays an interesting role in our lives. How dare we let it motivate us? How dare we let it into our decision making and into our livelihoods and into our relationships? It's simple. It's like, how dare we even
it's a ridiculous
allow that thing to control us?
Yeah, it's a ridiculous thing a lot of the times. Like I said, bears are real and can kill you.
Sure.
But generally, it's not bears.
Yeah.
It's well, I don't know, what if this, like you say, well, what if this happens? And that's crazy. So you're going to let something that possibly could happen, that hasn't happened, that doesn't exist, keep you from doing something that's ridiculous. The possibility of something happening. That's fear of literal nothing. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I've just been, there's such a spectrum of severity of fear. You don't even, a hesitation to do something is a fear of something, generally. So, I don't know.
And it's almost always holding you back.
Every single time.
Yeah.
Every single time. Fear is the worst. Yeah, fear is the worst. And it's hard. It's hard to work through that kind of thing. And the first thing is to be able to, is to admit that there is fear, sure, that you are, in fact, but then trying
or more so being aware of the fear.
Well, that comes later. I think that you can't even, that's what I was going to say, is to be able to identify exactly that it's the culprit in so much.
Yeah.
To be able to fine tune yourself to go, oh, this is one of those moments. Takes work. Mm-hmm. And then to overcome it. Or to suppress it, well, that's not good. To overcome it in different, to start practicing doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the hardest part is to realize that it is fear that's doing a lot, and then to recognize when it is.
Yeah.
But I in relation to this particular music, I like, and I can only speak on this song, but the song is very positive. The lyrics are very positive. Basically saying, it says at one point we need to turn to our whys, and it's just saying the state of this is crazy.
Yeah.
And we've gone down a bad road. Let's turn around. Mm-hmm. And the music sort of sounds that way to me. The song is sort of that way. That it's just, they're not. It's not that they're taking chances, which they are. They're doing something, so they're taking a chance. But just the sound of the music and the guitar-driven movement that they're making is consistent, and it's without. It's eclectic, but they're also staying in their lane and moving forward without any. It's like they don't have any impediment in front of them in the song. Mm-hmm. So they're not also being boxed in by the form of what just structurally speaking, from what a normal song is. They're not verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, mm-hmm. chorus. There's no real rhyme or reason to how the song goes from that standpoint.
Right.
He sings like I said, he has quatrains that he does. I think there's a 3-line thing in there when they go to the don 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 because they switch up the rhythm so much. Maybe he had to do 3 lines rather because of the time signature. But it just kind of plows through with a what's the word I'm looking for? With a goal, it seems like they have a goal. The song's goal minded. That it just said this is what we're trying to convey, and without throwing off the shackles of what a traditional song is or anything else. With no fear, they go through to the end of what they're trying to do. That's what it sounded like to me.
Okay. Cool. Anything else?
No, I've reached the end of this. This script.
We finally saw the end.
Yep.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We are Great Measures. My name is Richard. This is Judson. That was I Saw the End by Pallbearer.
Great Measures, man.
By God.
By God, great.
Have a great day, everybody.